everybody, Bill Shaka here. Welcome to Lesson 2 of Interpersonal Communications. What we are going to talk about in this lesson are the 6 C's of clear communication. Let's begin by looking at the first one. How do we communicate more clear? Competence. Competence. What do I mean by that? It means knowing what you're talking about. One of the most important things that we can do as a communicator is have a deep knowledge of what we are talking about. Thus, before communications occur, many times research has to occur. Unless it's a strictly opinionated topic, you need to have some level of competence in your subject matter. Following competence, or I should say the other side of that coin, is confidence. If you know your material, you need to project it in a self-confident way. Fortunately, I said these are two sides of the same coin. As you develop more competence, you develop more confidence. Thus, the deeper you research and the more you know about your subject, the more confident you are in your communication approach. Consistency. If you've taken any of my other courses, or as you will see in this course, you are going to see a very consistent style of communication. What would happen if I was communicating to you this way in this lesson, and then in the next lesson I was kind of communicating to you this way? Nice and quiet and very low-keyed. There'd be no consistency. You wouldn't know how to take it. What's wrong with Bill in this lesson? Didn't he have enough caffeine? Consequently, consistency in your communication is extremely important. The 4th C in clear communication is connections. What do I mean by that? You need to find information. And the best way to find information is to get opinions of others. Thus, the more individuals that you can actually work with, question, assist you, that's going to expedite the information that you're going to need. So never lose sight of the fact that connections are an extremely important part of communication. We never really think of that. We think about when we communicate as being something very personal. But what we say is really dependent on all of those people that are behind us that gave us good information in terms of what to say. If you think about it, even the research that you do, the research online, it was written by somebody. There are certainly virtual connections there. But the more connections that you could make, especially in terms of the breadth and depth of the subject matter, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to put your information together. The 5th C of clear communication is credibility. Credibility. Do you have the credibility to speak on the subject matter? Now, credibility can come in different forms. You may have missed the first lesson in this course when I went over a little bit of my bio, or you saw the bio on the screen. So you're wondering who this person is talking about interpersonal communication skills. I'm hoping just by virtue of my behavior, you can see that I have a credible background in this. Okay, also, the more that you do something, the more that you communicate, the more credible you will become. But remember, this is all dependent on the breadth and depth of your research and how deeply you have the ability to know the material, then convey that material. So, consequently, make sure that you develop credibility. Keep it as a goal in your communication process. The more credible you are in each communication sequence you have, the more credible you will become. So, use credibility to your advantage. And finally, the final C in clear communication is context. We have to be able to communicate in an environmental context and making sure that our words are proper in terms of who we are talking to and what we are talking to. That's why this is a thinking person's sport, ladies and gentlemen. You may say something to one person because you know how they will react, but you have to say the exact same content, but say it differently to somebody else because of a different kind of a reaction. Take your communication in context. And it's not just what we say, it's where we say it. If you're having a disciplinary issue with an employee, for example, do you want to do that in the middle of a noisy, crowded factory floor, or do you want to take that individual somewhere where you can have a personal chat? Think about this, folks. Think about the 6 C's of clear communication: competence, confidence, consistency, connections, credibility, and context. Spend a little time today looking at each of these. Research them if you'd like to, and put them together into your own dynamic interpersonal communication plan. This is Bill Shaka, looking forward to seeing you in Lesson 3.